All right, cool. So I think this is live right now in the group. I'm happy to have everybody here. Everybody has, let me just admit everybody in here because I want to make sure there's so many of the AI things in here. So we're going to go over tonight. This is going to be like everything that you guys have questions on. Before we get started, what I want to do is I want to just focus on going through how I have been able to, I'll call it be successful in doing this stuff. I don't know where everybody's at. I want to get to know everybody in here who joined. If you're watching on Facebook, check your email if you registered to get this link, right? And so the idea behind this is I've been doing this. There's some people in the group here that I work with. Antoine is one of them, and Brandon, that we sell high ticket builds. This is not selling a snapshot for $97 or an affiliate link to, get people on your Go High Level sub account. You're not going to get rich from that. It's never going to work. The people on YouTube are going to sit there and tell you, oh yeah, do this. Well, they're selling an online course or they're doing something that they're making money from, and it's not real. I'll give you a little bit of a background of who I am because not everybody knows who I am. My name is Nick. I worked in corporate sales for 15 years. I sold like medical device equipment for women's health and the cervical cancer space. We sold medical equipment for uh, the PAP and HPV testing inside inside hospitals. My quota was $2 million a month. And before that, I was doing diabetes sales. So I was meeting with surgeons, I was meeting with OBGYNs, I was meeting with internal medicine doctors. And before that, when I graduated college, I was doing like hotelcoupons.com. I was driving around. If you remember Groupon, I worked for Living Social. So I met with a lot of small businesses. And my quotas were large. And what I realized was I had my company doing all the leads for me. And so I got into Airbnb. And the reason why I'm telling it, it'll make sense in a second, but I got into Airbnb and I wanted to build this passive lifestyle and the passive income lifestyle. I seen it on YouTube. I was tired of working. I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to learn Spanish. I wanted to, just have fun. And so I did. I bought the Airbnb in New York City and Brooklyn. It was a three-family home. I bought a car and I didn't even tell my job that I was leaving. And I started driving from Arizona all the way to Argentina in 2019. And during that time, I was making more money from the Airbnb than I was with my job. And so I figured out something by mistake that I was in the perfect position. Anyone that owns a house needs a job to pay the mortgage. Well, I allowed the money to work for me. And if I wasn't in my house, then I basically would make more money because it was a three-family home. And by me staying there, yeah, I lived for free. But, you know, by leaving, then I could rent out my apartment and I could make more money. And so I bought this car and I started driving from Arizona to Argentina. I did Mexico for an entire year. I built a bed in the back. It was awesome. Um, and I had my first real like, wow, this is really cool. I'm making money and I'm traveling and I'm doing cool stuff and this, that, and the other thing. And last year, all of this stuff got turned off for me. And it got turned off because the government's changed the rules in the middle of the game. And I needed a place or I needed a way to figure out how do I get to be in control. Um, and it was my first like real hard lesson. I'll call it that. I'm not going to go into it, but it was not easy. And so Airbnb changed these rules. My house was illegally running on Airbnb after this, that, and the other thing. And my money got cut off and I lost everything. I actually took margin out on my house and some stocks, and I bought another place in Tulum. And since that house in New York was cut off, so I'll give you some numbers. I was doing about $17,000 a month in profit living in Mexico, which is insane. And overnight, all of that was ripped out from underneath me. And I hedged it by buying another place in Mexico and running my Airbnb. And now I'm in the process of losing that house. And it was a disaster. I can't begin to tell you how much stress, how many nights that I haven't been able to sleep. And so I started looking online. I actually started building out Amazon stores and doing drop shipping and this, that, and the other thing. And that's a scam. I flew out to Bangladesh. I met with a team. And while I was in Bangladesh, I spent $6,000 on flights for me and my partner to go out there. Amazon did the exact same thing that Airbnb did, ripped it out from underneath us and said drop shipping is illegal. And I was like, fuck. I was just I was listening to all these people on YouTube and yeah, you could do drop shipping and do this and do that and blah blah blah. And so I took a break. I lost everything. And I took a break and I started looking at what this was with Go High Level, with AI that just started coming out. And when I was doing that, when I bought my house in Mexico, I was filming stuff and putting it on YouTube for fun because I was traveling and it was like this blog that I was going to make. I was going to be a blogger, I was going to be an Amazon drop shipper, I was going to be, this, that, and the other thing. And what I learned from that was content actually is an amazing tool when you do it the right way. And so people were watching me on YouTube of the process of me just buying my house in Mexico as a foreigner, as an American, just going through Mexico and buying it. How do they set up the LLC? How do they do this? How do they do that? How do they do this? And so in that time, I actually sold $10 million worth of real estate by mistake from a YouTube channel that I had about 600 subscribers. And all it was me just taking YouTube videos or of the Zoom calls that I would have with the person of just explaining it and putting it on YouTube. That's it. I didn't do any SEO. I didn't do any keyword research. I just said like, this is how much money my house is making in Tulum, Mexico. And then people just got super excited and wanted to buy. And when I got to that point, I realized I didn't have a system in place like I had at my corporate jobs to be able to keep track of everything. Everything was just in WhatsApp. And that's how I discovered Go High Level. I found this guy. He was running ads. I hired him. I paid him $5,000 to build out my custom Go High Level automations for real estate. And he ripped me off. And I got stuck and I got fucked over again. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to figure this out. So I did. I sat down, I learned it for about a year. I learned the ins and the outs of it. And what this call is going to be about for you guys today is the shortcut of the past 2 years that's taken me to get to this point to sell. I think I've probably sold like 200 grand since last August in a short amount of time. And so I figured out that I took my knowledge from my corporate sales and the knowledge that I learned of Go High Level and the needs of what these customers need and just basically consolidated it. Now, what we're going to learn tonight is not something that was I just like randomly put together. I literally lost everything and then started from the bottom and made myself back up there. And so what I've created for you guys, and some of you guys might have seen this, is this McDonald's method. And so I've really been thinking about how these large companies scale. My company, I worked for a company named Hologic. I worked for Sanofi Aventis, which is the medical companies. Like, how do these companies become so big and how do they hire so many people and how do they do all this stuff? And it's really just comes down to systems and it comes down to not being attracted to the shiny object, right? So the shiny object is all of us just watching YouTube and figuring out like in these groups of like, oh yeah, download this snapshot, you can sell it, you can make $10,000 a month, you could do this, you could do that. It's not true unless you have a system in place to do it. And so I I I don't know, I just came up with it the other day, like when I made the video, if you guys are here from this video of this McDonald's method. And I'll go through it really quickly. If not, you can go back and watch the McDonald's method video. But basically, McDonald's is not a restaurant, okay? McDonald's is a real estate company that just so happens to serve food at their restaurant. And so when they go out and they do their due diligence of where they're going to purchase a property, they're looking at what's going on, what's the new things that are coming, what they're looking at real estate. They already know that people are going to buy the food. They just are looking for what are we going to do in the next 3 years, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now in this location. And so when we look at our agencies, we want to basically see like, you know, how do we shift ourselves to become the McDonald's method, right? How do you become a consultant first that just so happens to fulfill what it is that they want, need, or require for their business? I'm gonna pause there for a second. This call is gonna be super relaxed. I'm gonna open up a beer. So if you guys want to take a second, go get a beer, go get a drink, do something. Like this is me just having fun. I have nothing to sell you at the end of this. I have nothing to do. This is just me on a Thursday night after I played golf today, just hanging out and drinking beers. So if you need to go get a beer, go get a beer. Or a glass of wine or whatever. So as I went through this, I'm going to share my screen. So this is what I was doing in the beginning when I first started learning Go High Level. I shifted away. I got rid of the real estate stuff, and I basically just started looking at this CRM system because I was using the CRM system when I was at my companies, and so it was helpful. It allowed me to stay organized. But when I started doing this myself, this is what happened. So I would go out, I would try to sell, right? So this whole thing right here, this selling and the prospecting thing, we can go over this tonight if you guys want to ask questions and I can show you how to do this. But the selling part is the hardest part because you're trying to sell stuff to people. And then once you get your first client, I remember, last summer I was super excited. I had this guy, he was a golf guy, and he had an app and he he was using Instagram to get his clients and he had like 300,000 followers and I was like, dude, you're dependent on a third party system that overnight they could delete your Instagram account and you're going to be screwed. Like, the same way that I was screwed with Amazon, the same way that I was screwed with Airbnb. And so what I found myself doing was selling, getting super excited, selling the setup for 2,500 bucks and then the monthly reoccurring revenue for like $297. And I was like, yeah, man, this is awesome. I got my first $2,500 client. And that 2,500 bucks, one, it went super fast. My rent is $1,100, so there's half of it right there. And now I got to spend 5 weeks trying to build it. And basically, what I found myself doing was I just built a job for myself without a salary. I should just go back and get a regular full-time corporate job, and I could just play the game and go and sell, and they can give me the leads. And it was like, this doesn't make sense. So what happens is you start selling it, this is the time frame that it takes to do this, and then you deliver it, and then you just find yourself back in this whole process. So if you're a one-man team, you really just built a really, really, really hard job for yourself to do stuff. And so I started thinking of like this McDonald's method. How do I sell something up front for people first without having to do the work, but still get paid for it? And so what I did was I started documenting this stuff and charging. First, I started doing $99. Then I did $150. Then I did $250. Now I'm at 500 and I'm going to raise the price to 1,000. And so what that does is that allows me to meet with 10 people for $500. So now my business is I just meet with 10 people and I get paid $5,000 a month. That's it. And I build out a document, which I'll show you. And from there, at that point, if I spoke with 10 people, I know bare minimum at least one person is going to buy a $10,000 bill. So now for 10 meetings, I got paid $5,000 and I know that one person will buy $10,000 worth of my stuff and now I'm at $15,000 a month.
Hey, Nick.
Now I shift myself from working in my business because most people are working in the business. They're working on, building, learning, building more, learning to where now my job really is how do I just make a really cool ad to get more people to get on a meeting for $500 because the backside of it, I'm going to make the cash. And so my job is to increase for every 10, instead of getting one person, I want two people to make $25,000 a month, or I want three people to make $35,000 a month, right? And so that's really been the eye-opening thing for me going through all of these different experiences because now you're no longer relying on anybody else. Now, unless Google or Facebook ads or the internet was wiped out on planet Earth, yeah, that's going to be the same situation that Airbnb did to me. Like, I don't think, I think there's a very small chance that the internet is going to disappear, right? I don't know. We did all get locked up in our house for 2 years from COVID, so maybe it could happen. But
Can you expand your
that's
screen, please?
really, go ahead.
Can you expand your screen, please?
Yeah, can you not see this? Is this, see, like that? Is that better?
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks.
Maybe I can zoom in on this.
Yep.
It's bigger. I don't know how
Thanks.
to move it over. So that's really been the entire that's how I got to where I'm at right now. And this is what I want to share with you guys tonight is how do we go through and follow this, right? So I guess maybe everyone can just raise their hand in the chat and I can go through. I don't really have like a process of how to run this call tonight, but I really want you guys to ask your questions of the struggles that you have and I'll help guide you because I know that your questions are probably the same as somebody else's and I can tell you, like, I can teach you guys basically how to position yourself to get people to want to buy rather than people being sold to. That is the biggest thing. And I'll give you an example. If you ever watched a shitty movie, you've turned it off within the first 10 minutes, right? It's like that movie was terrible. Let's change it. If you watch a good movie, they walk you through an entire story, right? And so that story is they set up some sort of action, like an action movie, right? There's an action scene, someone dies or someone drowns or someone's on a boat and a shark comes and gets them or something, just something crazy happens, right? And then they do a character building of like they go through and they do like 2 years before, right? And then at the end of the movie, it catches back up to that first scene and it gets your attention and it does that. So in sales, that's the same type of thing that you want to do with your clients to get them engaged. And there's a way to do that by getting asking the right questions. So I don't know, maybe somebody give me like an example. Like I don't know, is anybody in a current sales call or a sales situation right now that you can't close the deal? If you give me some background on it, like I can help you go through and we can do this. Um, I don't know. Yeah, Bill, go ahead. Tell me something like a problem in sales. Like I'm not going to talk about building Go High Level because we can
Yeah.
all find somebody to build it, or we probably already know how to build it. But I want to just focus strictly on sales. Like, how do you get these people to buy a $10,000 thing from you?
Yeah, well, what's interesting, Nick, is I actually come from a background that my original company for 33 years was and is actually still is an actual consulting company. So to your point,
Okay.
the problem was is our builds were or our contracts were maybe 75,000 to like 500,000, so that was what I was
Nice.
used to doing. So I'm coming back to this stuff, and of course I got kind of pinned into the whole GHL world a bit, and then the idea of, hey, sell some people for a couple of $100, few $100, get a bunch of them going, etc. And probably, I don't know how long ago it was, but I'd say about 3 weeks ago, I was like, nah, I don't like this. Like, we need to increase that dollar value per sale. Like the per
Yeah.
sale and lifetime value has to go way up. Like, because I'm not comfortable with it. So at that point, it was funny. I just happened to watch. I sent out a little thing on Facebook. I said, "Hey, this is great, Nick. Thanks," because it was the realization was we used to do exactly what we're doing. I literally forgot what you do is the idea. We would charge them. We'd sit down there, we'd have a meeting, we'd sit and, hey, what are you all about? What are you doing? Hey, we're thinking about doing this. We'll charge you $1,000 and we'll give you a great thing. We'll give you a great program. This is what we're going to do for you. It's yours, and we'll give you your money back if you sign up for 20 grand, 30 grand, 50 grand. Pick a number. So isn't
Mhm.
this the weird thing? So here I am, had gone the other way for months, looking at AI and doing all this shit, and literally not realizing I needed to go the other way. So that's why this is really valuable to me. Sometimes you need to go back to go forward for me. That's what's
Yeah,
happening.
of course.
It's
Of
true.
course. So I guess let me go through maybe the process, unless somebody else needs some help. Like, does anybody have somebody they're
Well,
working on in a sale
well,
right
I do have one actually,
now? Okay.
before we let you go. Actually, it's a pretty big insurance company. They're,
Okay.
uh, they're a sizable insurance company, and I'm talking to the CEO, just opened up the door and talking to the CEO of the company. And he's not technical too much, et cetera, but he owns about 6 different companies. They're all insurance and they're serious companies. They do like the full retirement benefits for like, retirement benefits for like McDonald's. I mean, this is the kind of stuff they do. And so he has 18 high-end reps, like serious high-end reps. And those brokers, so far what I talked to him about, he said, well, where would you be comfortable? And he likes the AI lead in. So far we've done the AI lead in. We did that great, blew him away. He was like, oh, awesome voice thing. That's really cool. Did the whole thing. He's an older guy. And I said, okay, where are we at? So now we're in that next stage of ask. And I can tell that this guy needs to be convinced of each piece. So at this point in time, he's asked for a reception, and I think that might be a good start. Great, do a little reception and then lead him into that. But would you recommend, if I'm at that point, still do the SOP document, like still do the scope of work, SOW document? What's your thoughts?
Yeah. So, okay, let me ask you this. I'm gonna back up from what you just said. Is you guys are talking to an insurance company that handles a bunch of just high end like retirement stuff and things like that.
Yeah,
Now they have 18 reps.
yeah,
So every time that I go into a call, I set up the expectations from the beginning on purpose. And in this case, because I don't know the whole context, but if I were to go into this meeting, I would ask them like, look, I mean, this is the first question I ask them in my 10 to sometimes it turns into 30 minutes, but usually I try to keep it like 10 to 20 minutes long. Maybe it turns into 45 minutes. People like to talk about themselves and you want them to talk about
yeah, that's
themselves
fine. I
at
don't even
that
care
first
what it
thing,
goes
right?
to. Yeah,
So I just say very simply an open-ended question of tell me what you got going on. That's it.
yep,
And they just start to talk. And I listen pretty closely. And if he is asking for telling you that he has 18 reps, I would ask him, what are the daily activities of those 18 reps? How are you
Yeah.
measuring their performance? What types of KPIs are you wanting them to fulfill, right? And then you can ask, you can go deep. I don't know the answers that he would give you, but I would say something like, okay, now we want to focus on the customer journey. So when I go into these meetings, I flip the script and I say, look, I know you and me are both business guys and we understand this, but let me ask you this. How many times has someone called you on your phone trying to sell you something and you're like, wow, yeah, I would love to talk to you? Never. Now, if Apple or Target or Kroger or Myers or Best Buy or somebody called you and they said, hey, this is Nick from Apple. Is this so and so? You'd be like, yeah, how can I help you? Like, did I do something wrong? Is something wrong with my phone? Is something like what's going on? Right? Because Apple and all these companies, they're not selling you anything. They just have something that you want to buy. And so what they focus on is the customer journey. All those companies focus on the customer journey. So when you now what that does is it breaks a barrier down between you and the guy, right? Because now you guys are on the same page and you're just like, yeah, I know you're a business owner. Me and you are both business owners. I want to shift this conversation and I want to talk about how do the customers perceive you?
Mhm.
Because now you've reduced this barrier and you start now you guys are on common ground and you're talking about his customers. And so the way you segue into this to get him into a sales call without him even feeling as if he's in a sales call is like, whoa, so someone comes to your website. What do those 18 reps do? Are they calling them? Are they doing this? Are you guys sending out emails? Do they fill out a quote? Do they get a quote? Do they have to schedule a call? And it's like, okay, think about you having to do that. Like, where are you getting these leads from? Are you getting them from ads? Are you getting them from Google? Are these high intent buying leads where they're actually looking for your service, or are you just hitting people up?
Yep.
And so at that point, you shift yourself from a salesman to being a consultant, and you're figuring out what his clients want because now you're on his side. Now he's adjusting and thinking about, oh man, I never even thought about that. And you just focus heavily on, look, we want people to want to buy from you, not be sold to. So I don't really know your entire business. And in that 10 to 20 minutes, you've now shifted his thinking or her thinking, whoever, into, wow, this guy really knows what he's talking about. And you close that first call with, look, the best way that this works is we have to build something out that I call an AOF document. And what that does is this is just, I'll pull it up on the screen. Like these are just these AOF documents of what that does is
What's
that
AOF? What's AOF stand for, Nick?
I call it just an automated operations framework. It's the same thing as a project
Okay.
scope document. It's all the
Okay.
same thing. I just branded it as that and just made
That's
it
good.
different.
We would call them scope of work, but
Yeah, it's a scope of work document, right? But this is what they're paying for. And so now in that example that I just shared with you, you're no longer trying to sell him this scope of work document. You're literally telling him like, dude, you can't move further in this process without having this. So if you want to work together, like there's no way we can't do anything without having this. So you focus on their customers. How are we going to help you make more money? How are we going to get your clients to feel as if they want to buy and not be sold to? But while you're doing this, you're doing the same thing to your client, right? Because
well,
now
in
you're
his case,
just
in their case, Nick, I can tell you point blank. He told me we did a bunch of this
Mhm.
on one call. We've only had one call so far,
Okay.
and it's like we had a half an hour and then he had to go. But we did a number of these, and you're right. I mean, that was the script we went by. I literally just said nothing. It was like almost, and led some questions. But what was interesting is what they come up with amazing stuff, and then he came up yesterday, the day after, and fired some stuff off to me. To your point, saying, "Hey, how about this? How about this? How about this?" Well, that type of engagement has already got me deep in the door. So it's like, I think we're okay. But this idea of doing this, I hadn't thought of. I literally ran into this like 2 days ago. And I was like, God, we used to do that like 25 years ago. Why don't I need to do this with them? And I think he'll be wide open to this. So selling
Well,
this is very easy to, I think.
here's the cool thing that this does, because it's super powerful, because it shifts you from, again, being a salesman to being a consultant and getting them to want to buy. If you've ever watched a magician, right? Here's a 5 of hearts, and it's on the top of the cards, the deck of cards. And I shuffle the cards and I tell you, okay, yeah, pick a card, pick a suit, pick a thing, whatever. Okay, how many times will it take me to get to the 5 of hearts? I tell a story and I made you pick the card that I already know where it's at in the deck. And then at the end of the magic trick, you're like, wow, that was amazing. If I said, hey, how many times do you want me to pick this? How many times do you think it's going to take me to pick the 5 of hearts? And you say 2, I'm going to take it off the bottom first and then take it off the top and pick this one. It's not cool. It's not cool. It's like, yeah, that's a shitty trick. But when you take them through your own customer journey of, look, we have to build out this automated operations framework. This is the most amazing thing. You know what this does? If you ever worked and you put your words in it, have you ever worked with a development team? Developers, they're a different breed. They're very like analytical and they're very logical. And so if you've ever worked with a team of developers, like how do you transfer or convey the message of what you want done properly? Like it's very difficult because they'll just take it literally. Like, hey, I need this built. Okay, boom, it's done. And they won't turn this on. Like, oh yeah, I didn't know. Like I've been in meetings where we have a demo with a client and the developer's like, oh yeah, oh, I forgot to turn that on. You just told me to do this. And I'm like, yeah, dude, we're going through a demo. Like that part is needed. They're just very laser focused. Not that it's a bad thing, but the other side of it is, Mr. Client, how many conversations have you been in that are the same as me? Like how many other people have you interviewed? Like if you're a smart business owner, I'm sure you're going to go talk to 5 other people after me, or you've already talked to 5 people before me. Why are you wasting your time? Like, imagine having this document. If we don't decide to work together, delete my price and give it to the next guy and just send them our recording and just say, hey, this is what I need built. What can you do this for? What price can you do this for me? So now you've given them this option of an out where they're like, oh yeah, that's not really risky. I mean, yeah, that would, I mean, I do have 4 other meetings with people. Why would I want to talk to other people and just keep repeating myself? Yeah, maybe I should just get this document built. Like that would be amazing. And then you start to go a little bit deeper. When you're driving your kids to soccer practice, or when you're taking a shower, or when you're in the car going to work, or you're at the conference table. I mean, all this stuff is in your head. Have you ever documented this and taken this out of your head and put it on paper? Like, how long have you been thinking about doing this until I started talking to you? And they're going to tell you, yeah, we've been talking about this for like 6 months. Well, what have you done?
Yeah.
What you've been talking about this for 6 months. You know you have a problem, but you haven't even been able to do anything. Well, that's where I come in. We build out this document and it will help guide you to where you need to be within your company. And guess what? You're not going to have repeated conversations like this. We don't have to have another 45-minute Zoom call with the next agency. Just take this and take my price off and just give it to them. And if they're smart, they'll know how to build this. Well, okay, yeah, so what do we need to do? Well, I charge $500. Yeah, I charge $1,000 for this. And they're like, and if we do decide to work together, I take that $1,000 off the price. There's no way that I would be able to even give you a price of what we need to build. Like if you asked me, hey, I need this automation and I need this whole thing built, how much would you charge me? It's like, well, I need a house built and I want 3 bedrooms and 3 baths. And the developer would say, yeah, it's going to be $350,000. Okay, what countertops am I getting? What tile am I getting? What kind of cabinets? What kind of refrigerator? What kind of windows? What kind of roof? Like, I could build you a $350,000 home for really, really shitty quality interior stuff. Or for $700,000, you can get granite countertops, you could get Pella sliding glass windows, you could get a generator outside for the storms that when they come, if you live in the middle of Oklahoma when there's tornadoes, like you're gonna need that, you know? And so you have all your upsells and things inside here
Yeah.
that you let them choose that 5 of hearts. So you go through this questioning of, so what happens when all 18 of these sales reps don't, how many times are these sales reps calling these guys? They call them 3 times and they give up. Why do they do that? How many leads do you currently have in your system right now? And how many times have they been called? And they start to see these problems, and then now $500 to $1,000 for this document is like, in order for me to move forward, I have to have this. That makes logical sense now. And so it's
It does,
not
and
that you're,
it doesn't even matter the price to me. Like, I mean, to your point,
it
like you're
doesn't
starting
matter the
whatever it
price.
is, it's like the point is they've got a little bit of skin and you become the professional, like you really are at this point.
You
I think
become their partner. They don't
the
see
partner.
you.
That's
They're
what I
like,
said.
hey, I need to have Johnny on this call, and can Sally get in here because she knows more than things than I do. I don't even really know how we do it. She needs to talk to you.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
And now they're like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing. He's not like a salesman. He's kind of like a part of our team.
Yeah, yeah, it makes a difference. Yeah, and we're lucky in our other business that we're shifting. This one is the automation, blah, blah stuff. But our original company, at least we're fortunate that we have about 35,000 successful projects over 33 years, and we've never once placed an ad, not one time.
Wow, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so we have a good track record in our other level of consulting, but now it's not commoditizing because the GST guys do a real custom package, but the idea is, to me, is if we're in a vertical, like if you're in a vertical, I'm in a vertical, if I'm working with the guys, we want to get that as commoditized as possible for the next sale because we all make more money, even though there's still some customization to it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So with this that we're talking about, you had one call, you said, where what could I do to help you close this deal? Like, what is it that you're selling them? Or have you gotten to this AOF document yet?
No, no, not at all. We didn't even discuss an AOF document. In fact, the call was last week. I read your thing to update my brain like 2 days ago, and now we're going to connect again, I think, next week. So that'll be good. I'm looking forward to it because this is exactly what I'm going to do on our next call. I'm going to tell them we're going to do an AOF. I'll even steal your name maybe because we used to call them scope of work, but I like AOF because it's like
You
an
can call it
automation.
whatever.
Something.
Yeah.
Call it anything. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay. I don't know if anybody else has any questions. Oh, yeah, I do. I see it. Terry. Um, Bill, I'll come back to you, but we'll have Terry go and see what's up.
Hey Nick, awesome. Question I have, what you just shared, do you position yourself when you first talk to them that way with that document and let them know this is what we could do for you and this document is going to be $500 for you to after the call? Is that how you position it?
Let me pull some stuff up.
Because I can see where I did similar to that, but I did it differently. And I'm like, man, if I'd have did it there, well, you don't know until you try it. But I used that scope of work, but I didn't position myself with the initial call that way.
Yeah, it depends. Well, it depends on what kind of lead you have. If you're, so I absolutely hate like cold outreach.
This was a warm lead.
Okay.
Guys I met and I got introduced, we kind of connected, and then I did another call and they answered. I sent the form to them. They gave me some basic information and then I created that doc, but I didn't set a price for I didn't position myself listening to what you just shared And if I had did that, which I learned now, I gave them that document, but it should have been a $500 giveaway.
Yeah.
But it was my first, it was my first time doing it, so I'm learning.
Okay. So Kelly asked, how do I raise my hand? Kelly, I'll just call on you next. You raised your hand by typing that. But so yeah, it depends. So I'll just tell you like how I do it. I absolutely hate cold outreach. When I first started this, I was like, yeah, I got awesome, I'm good at sales. I have a bunch of experience. I'm just gonna make cold calls. No, I am absolutely terrible at cold calling. I cannot do that. So if you're cold calling somebody, I don't see how you could convince them that, hey, take my call and buy this from me right now, right? Because they have to figure out their problem. Like now you have to go through an educational like situation of, hey, I'm gonna tell you that you have a problem, and then I'm gonna try to get you to buy it from me. Like that would be way too hard. So I go to places like Upwork, I go to YouTube comments, I go to LinkedIn, I go to these places where people already know they have a problem, and then you're basically just trying to plop yourself in front of them. Russell Brunson has been teaching this for years, right? Like just place yourself in the middle of where they're at, and you'll get clients, right? So like on Upwork, someone will message me and I know they're messaging me and 30 other people. But I play it cool. That's just my personality. I play it like pretty nonchalant. Like right now, I'm sitting here drinking a beer, eating a charcuterie board, hanging out, talking. Like this is how I am in real life, and this is how I am when I'm in my sales. And so I never chase people, and I tell them straight up, look, this is how I operate. What we do is we have a 10 to 20-minute call. If it seems like a good fit, we're going to have to build out this document, and I'll give them a Google Drive of the document. That way they see it, and I know that no one else is sharing that document. And so now I've just like subliminally put myself above the competition that I'm competing against, whether with a different agency or something like that.
So it's a
And
mock document where you share with them, basically.
yeah, and I'll tell them like if it's a roofing company, I have one from a roofing company. If it's I don't know, the other day somebody came in
Oh,
and
okay.
said so like I have over time I've done these, so I have a bunch of different documents that are within that niche, right? Like if it's a roofing company and a dentist comes and asks me, well, that whole customer journey is pretty much the same. Like you go in, you go get your teeth, like an x-ray or whatever, and they figure out if you need braces. The same way that the roofing company, they're gonna have somebody go out, check your roof, and figure out how many shingles. Like the crux of it is still the same. So I'll just tell them like, hey, look, here's a roofing company. The customer journey is pretty much the same. They call you, you run ads, they call you, they set up an appointment. Either the person comes in or the guy goes out to your house and checks it, depending on if it's a dentist or a roofing company. And then, you schedule, you get a deposit, and then you do the service, right? It's all those kind of the same. And I just get really good at figuring out what people respond to. Sometimes, like I'm from New York too, so I'm pretty direct, and I think that's a blessing and a curse at the same time. Which is like I'm not messing around. Like here you go, this is what it is. If you take it or leave it, and leave. Some people, they're like, I wish that you slowed down talking about this. I didn't understand it. It's just my personality. It's what I do. And so what I do is I do not give them my calendar link. I say, if this is something of interest to you, feel free to message me, and then I can send you my calendar because I'm busy with clients, and I want to make sure I give you the time, the respected time, whatever, something along those lines. So I make them actually do a little bit of work. Most agencies, they're dying to get someone on a call, and it comes across as salesy. So in the beginning, I don't act as if I need them.
Mhm.
It's like you need me more than I need you. Although I do want you, but if you're reading my message and you like this document that I send you, let me know and I'll send you my calendar. Right? So then I'll wait a couple days. And if they didn't respond, I'll respond back and I'll say, hey, so and so, whatever. I didn't hear back from you. I assume that you got all of this handled. So I'm going to take you off my list. Now you're taking it away from them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you ever had a old girlfriend or boyfriend and you go out and tell everybody how annoying she is and she's the worst girlfriend ever. And then the day that she breaks up with you, you're like, no, babe, I can change. I don't want to break up. And it's like that. People
Yeah.
want, they can't have. So now you take it away. And at that point, something will come up and they'll say like, oh no, I just been busy. And from there, you go to the next step and you're like, okay, well, what's your time frame on this? Like, does it make sense does it make sense? That's the best thing ever. Does it make sense to do this? And leave it at that. Because now they either have to tell you, yes, it makes sense, or no, doesn't make sense. But they feel obligated to tell you, like, well, you didn't want my calendar, does it make sense for me to send you the calendar? Like, I don't know where to go from here. And it kind of gets into like a little like confusing thing, but now they're forced to do it. And at that point, I mean, it's like sending a text message. It doesn't take much time, but you're getting them into this thing where you and I know that every other agency owner or every other business is like, hey, you didn't book a call on my calendar. Hey, what time works for you? Hey, you want to lock this in right now? And it's like that annoying car salesman that's trying to sell you this car that, like today, I got somebody that says, hey, I love to see what you're doing in the credit repair business. I was wondering if and I just wrote him back on Facebook like, bro, did you even look at my Facebook profile? I'm not even in the credit repair business, and I have nothing that I ever want to speak to you about just because of this message. Like, that's what you don't want to be like. And so at that point, you now are just getting on calls with people that understand your way of working. So when they come to you, like I've been in situations where people they think that they're like hiring you and you have to follow them and they're the expert. They just want you to just do the work. And it's like, no, that's not how I work. If that's what you want, I would suggest that you go and find somewhere else. I can actually put you in contact with some Facebook groups or some people on Upwork that would operate like that. But what we do is we build custom solutions, and if you're interested in doubling or tripling your revenue in the next 3 months, we can sit down and talk, but here's how I do it.
Posture.
Yeah, and it's like authority.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, the people that you work with, if you've ever been in a meet, like when I first started out, it was like, pulling teeth to get someone just to pay $250. Now, sometimes like I'll sell like a $5,000 thing and people are like, I didn't even tell them the price. They're just like, how much is it? Like, can I just pay you right now to do this? And 10 minutes after I hang up the call, they've already sent the 5 grand. They don't even like, they're not asking questions. They're just like, you know, it is what it is. This just reminded me of something. I highly suggest this book. And I think that you guys should all read this book. It's called, this is one thing that actually changed what I've been doing. It's called 10x is easier than 2x. What I just explained to you came from that book. I highly recommend that you read this book. It's an easy book. You can download it on, I don't know if you listen to the audiobooks.
Mm-hmm.
This book is an amazing book because 10x is easier than 2x. And for example, I mean, I don't know if he uses this, but I can explain this in a simple way. Is like if you had 10 days left and you were gonna die in 10 days, what would you do? Right? Like what would you do in the next 10 days if you were gonna die on whatever day today is, on June 22nd? Man, I would go skydiving. I'd like,
Shut down my
right?
internet.
Like you would go and do things that you would not normally do
Yeah.
between now and then. And that's the same thing in business is like, why are you trying to sell $97 snapshots when you could sell $10,000 builds and do it that way? And the clients that you end up working with that have the $10,000 to spend, they have a working business, and $10,000 is not the rest of their life savings. And so they have a $3 million a month business, and you're coming in and just saying, yeah, it's 10 grand to do it. They don't have time to even they're hiring you as the consultant, as you as the professional, as you as the expert to do it. Listen to their business, build out this AOF document, and charge them whatever it is that you need to charge them. But 10x is easier than 2x because it just cuts out all the nonsense that you wouldn't be doing with a 2x client, right?
Right.
I highly recommend you read that book. It's 10x is easier than 2x. This book actually is one of the big things that is responsible for me getting into this. I read this book after I lost the stuff from Airbnb and that my mentor told me to read it, and I was like, yeah, just think bigger. Why am I thinking so small? Like, what's a $97 snapshot? Um, so maybe that helps.
No, that was perfect for me.
Okay. Robert, I'm gonna go with Kelly just because she typed in there first, and I'll come back to you if that's okay. Don't be mad. Okay, Kelly, go ahead.
Okay, so I had a demo call today with Primerica Life Insurance.
Okay.
Okay. And I demoed a bot that I created for them to do lead revitalization or database reactivation, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
And as I got to really understand the company, the gentleman said, we don't have very many leads that we get from cold calls and or forms, what have you. They said 60% are all referral based. So it's a primarily referral based company. He said, but I really like the SMS idea to kind of wake people up by, saying, hey, how are you working out on that goal that we set? Is there anything I could help guide you through? I'd love to get on a call with you. That type of
Mhm.
motif for the bot. And he says, I really, really like this idea, and it's going to be really big. He says, I'm going to brainstorm it between now and next Wednesday when we are on another call together to kind of really go through, what we're thinking of for his company. And he's a regional vice president in Primerica, and he has 200 agents under him.
Okay.
And so he says, if I can get this to work for me, I will want to make it as a tool for all of our agents. So in
Okay.
my head, I mean, for me, it's like a no-brainer. But at the same time, like you, I'm not really great at sales. Is not my avenue nor my forte. I don't want to say I'm just a pretty face, but I really have the guts and the glory to stand up for myself, and I know the product very well, but I don't know, I don't know how to really sell that to him. But now that you've kind of given me the format, and I did put your video on completely slow, and I copied your entire formula that you gave on that video over there in your master class. Sorry. Um, I literally put it down to 0.2 so that I could screenshot every single section that you showed on that page. I mean, that's how crazy I am. You're laughing at me. Stop.
No, that's good. No, it's good.
Because if you understand the methodology of what you're talking about and really be able to look at it, it holds meat enough to understand how you can take them from A to Z, right? Um, I even did the same thing for your McDonald's full thing, which is, I assuming, very similar. And I'll actually compare the products after I've finally run them through ChatGPT and asked them to translate all the screenshots that I did. Um, but I don't know how. I want to introduce this whole AOF for them, but I also want to have a draft ready for them so that they can say I've actually been working hard on understanding their culture and how it could benefit for them. So,
So when I hear you, just the way that you explain this is you said a couple of things there, and the biggest thing is I want to. I want to. It's what is the benefit for you? And I don't think that you mean that in a bad way. But
Correct.
when you're in a sales call, it comes across as that. And it's easy to just reframe the wording to get to how do we help you? Because if they're successful, you're going to be successful,
Yep.
and then your money comes in, so it doesn't matter. So when I hear you say that they have whatever 200, these guys will use big numbers. We have 250 reps. We could do this, and if you could figure this out, then you're going to make a lot of money. Like that's what he basically told you. Is like,
Mhm.
I want you to do all the hard work. You figure it out, and if it works, then I'll pay you, and we'll get to that point, right? So there's no skin in the game for him just yet to get on another call. So I never do demos.
Okay.
I don't do demos because demos turn out to be just that, is what do you have? Do I like it? We don't even know what the guy likes. So in this situation, I would ask him, so you're getting a bunch of referrals. Where are you getting the referrals from? Right? Where do you get
I did ask that.
Okay, so where is he getting the referrals from?
Okay, so because it's all referral based, it's kind of like you refer your brother, he refers his cousin, they refer the grandparents, making, and he said it's just a toggle between the people. He referred you to a neighbor, the neighbor referred his brother, and he says it goes about 8 layers deep at least in his referral thing.
Are there incentives for those? Like these are the questions I would ask. Like, so you're getting a bunch of referrals. You don't even need to advertise. That's amazing. So we just need to get more referrals, right? Are there incentives to the person that referred them to get? I mean, there must be like, right? Is there like a, I don't know, you get a month off or something like that?
I actually don't know. Well, I would say I don't know because I've referred people and it's not like I got any benefit other than helping somebody, you know.
So this is where I would start, is I would say, like, why would someone give you a referral? Do they get some sort of incentive for that? Because based off what you're telling me, Mr. Insurance Guy, is
Mhm.
that it sounds like the more referrals, the more money we make. And he's
Yes.
gonna say, yeah. And that's where you lead from. And so in that way, you got to kind of link it. Like, I don't know what he would say. I don't know the whole story, but before I show you a demo, like we got to figure out the customer journey, because you just told me, and I'm acting as if I'm you talking to him. You just told me that referrals are where it's at. If you guys aren't running ads, like how do we get more referrals, right? And what if we created like a referral program where there's an incentive for, instead of going 8 layers deep, you could go 16 layers deep. And now you've switched it to where he starts asking you questions. Well, how would we do that? Well, I have a few ideas, but before we get into that, can I ask you a few more questions? And you start going deeper and you're like, okay, so you have 250 people managing all these referrals. Like, if we threw AI in there, is this going to replace their jobs? And he'd probably be like, yeah, I mean, okay. All right. So if now we have an AI agent in there, and I mean, I don't know if this is an ethical way to do this or sell this, but it's like we all know that AI is probably gonna, you know, replace some jobs. It's like these guys are being paid off commission. What's the commission on these referrals? 30%. What's the average checkout? $800 for the year. So that's $240 per. I don't know. I'm thinking $800, 30% is 240. So 240 per each referral. How many referrals are you getting? You have 10,000, so that's $2.4 million. And now you get into this thing, and he's like, yeah. And it's like, well, it sounds like to me we would have to build out some sort of referral program with AI to save you guys $2.4 million. And at that point, he's like, oh shit, yeah, wow, my boss is gonna love me if I can save $2.4 million with AI. And you completely just went away from a demo
Mm-hmm.
because he saw a demo and he just sees what it is. It texts them and does that. But now you have a monetary value behind what it is. And now now you, Kelly, you get to say, well, the way that this works is we build out what I call an AOF document, and that way we can get organized. I charge $500 for this, and that's where we need to start. So he goes back and he says, hey, look, I met this lady and she said that we can save 2.4 million and it's only going to cost $500 to get the whole plan. And then she can present it to us. And so that demo call that you had today, you're going to go into it in the next couple of days because you don't like you. I'm telling you this because you just told me this is
Yes.
you struggle
Yeah.
with sales. You're going to go into that call. And then now at that point, you don't have like an end goal, like a call to action of what do I need to do for the next step? That next
Mhm.
step is you need to build out this AOF. So in that first discovery call, you have to set this benchmark of like, what is it what's the monetary value of whatever it is, right? And you don't have to, like, no one is going in and asking these questions. And so, yeah, Bill, like, no VP needs authorization for $500, right? Like,
Mhm.
that's gonna be your 10x is easier than 2x. He's gonna be like, oh yeah, $500, here you go. Like, you could probably charge $1,000 to do it, right? Here's $1,000, like, do it. And now you're in a situation where you just got paid $1,000 to have a 20-minute phone call. And then the next call is just build out this scope document. And this is basically what a snapshot is. So this is how I sell a $97 snapshot for $10,000. Because now you're going into the call, I don't know your level of knowledge behind Go High Level or whatever systems or processes that you're using, but you now have this framework of an ad or a phone call or whatever to a landing page. They filled out the form, they filled out an application, and then they get on a sales call with the person. And in between, AI is just chatting back and forth with them of like, hey, how can I help you? And at that point, you got paid $1,000 up front, and then you sell it for 10,000. And then in these cases, typically, you can sell each phone call for $30. So you can position that where you have skin in the game. I'm going to make sure this works because instead of paying a monthly fee, each lead is going to cost you $15. For every scheduled appointment, you're going to be billed $15. And now you have an incentive to make sure that it gets completed properly and it works. That's what the whole point of the AOF document is, so that everybody's on the same page and they understand what's going to happen because he's going to tell you literally the trigger, the goal, and the what needs to happen in each workflow. And you now are getting paid whatever it is, $30 a lead, $20 a lead, $15 a lead, whatever you want to do. But guess what? You're saving $2.4 million based off this example that I just used, right? So
Right.
he's more than happy to pay you 300 grand a year than 280 reps that are commission based only. You know what I mean?
Oh, I do. I do.
So the first call in sales is always asking deeper questions. And for some reason, I remember this when I learned sales, is when I got to a point where the person asked me a question, I always instantly wanted to switch into the benefit or the feature that we had and start saying things about like what it was that I was selling. And I don't know what it is, but there's this thing in your mind where it's like you gotta cut that off and just continue asking more questions. And that forces you to really listen to the prospect. And when they see that you're listening and then you're responding with further and deeper questions, they don't view you as someone selling anything anymore because they're like, wow, this person understands what it is that I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, they end up becoming like an advocate for you. And they will go around and they'll say, hey, I met this lady, Kelly, she understands it. Which she was talking about why are we paying 280 reps this commission and we don't even have a campaign to get more what's it called? Referrals. And she's talking about adding AI into there. And it doesn't mean that they have to fire their reps, but those reps can be working on more revenue generating tasks somewhere else.
Right.
And so you get into this position of like, okay, this woman understands what I'm doing. Like, yeah, I'm down. Here's $500. Help me. Like, you help me. You know what you're talking about. So I don't know if that helps you. I don't know if that's
It does. I wish I would have had this meeting before I had the meeting today.
well, I've helped a lot of people in our group on their sales calls and stuff. So if you need help, hit me up and we can figure something out. But like that's
Oh, it was good. Great information, actually.
okay. Okay. So who had his hand raised up and then he just left? Did he leave? Who was it that I said, hey, I get back to you?
I thought
Right?
it was Antoine Royer.
No, it
No?
was the other guy. Where did he go?
I think his name was Bob.
You don't want to
Bob,
hear.
Uh,
did you leave? Did I scare you off? All right. Anyway, Antoine, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. I better understand English than I talk, okay? So I was listening like people and Kelly, and most of the people said we're not sales, we're not good on sales. And you know what? I was good in sales. I thought I was good in sales. And when I started in high level and met Nick a year ago, like it was like, okay, it's a completely different type of sales, because where I was from, it was always, I'm good, we have nice project, we can deliver, we can deliver, no worries, we're there. Inventory, it will be full. I was in food industry, so fine. And knocking on the door, annoying the owner of the business to taking my sales, my order, and it was good. Okay, I was like started in this company. They made like 1.5 billion in sales in shrimps, and when I left, I brought that 8 million. Not all alone, but
Okay.
let's say 75%, $8 million in sales in food business, mostly shrimps. And it's really small business. It's like $8 million for a business. It's nothing in this field. And when I started, and I was like, I'm good. I don't have to listen to nobody. I was making call and spending a lot of time with leads to talk about tech, how it's good, what can I do, and everything. And I spend a lot of time. Zero. Not zero, but like not so much.
Minimal.
And let's say a few weeks ago, I say, okay, let's take the plan, listen to what the Nick said, and I'm not going more than 15 and 20 minutes. Like Nick said, it's a asking question, where's your leads from? What is the value of your time? We can do this. That's it. You want to make a call? It's XYZ dollars. We're going to scope all your business. I'm going to send you your plan. You can do the job with me or not, or wait. That's it. And you know what? Let's say 60, 70% of the lead when I'm with them on the phone, they book this call. I have a plan, structure my plan, and it's hard for me to follow the plan because I like to talk too much. Okay. And I have to hold my tongue. And it's super hard for me. But when I follow the plan, it's going good. And sometimes I say, oh, let's be me more. You know, you have to be you, but let's be
Yeah,
me
of
more.
course.
And it's drift to some place I don't want to go.
Have
So
you closed a bunch of people on selling this AOF document?
yes,
Good. That was a very confident
yes.
yes.
And it's covered all my ads. Me too. I don't like to do cold leads. So I'm doing ads, I'm running ads, and people call me. But it's weird because sometimes I have a whole leads. It filled the form 3 times, and when I call him, oh no, I don't need anything. Okay, well, it's a part of the game.
Yeah.
But
Is it covering your ad spend? I mean, are you
oh
making
yeah,
money off of it? Yeah.
oh yeah, it's covered my ad spend. So all the leads, but it's weird because I was expecting to sell for myself in my city or in my area, or I was expecting selling few AI stuff, let's say quick, 4,000, 5,000, quick, boom, boom. But it's only big build.
Yeah,
So
it's the McDonald's method. You're getting paid up front to have the call, and a portion of those people will end up buying the high ticket, but you still got paid for the low ticket, or it's a self-liquidating offer and you're getting your free leads that are buying the
yeah.
high ticket,
So
right?
I was thinking at first when I had those on this call, okay, I'm charging 250 for now. I will increase my price. Okay. So, but I was expecting, I was say, oh, when you scope on this call, this business, you create like a connection with the client, and and you say, oh, he can do this. He asked the right question. So it's going like, and you see, you know now you need more than a little appointment setting AI. You need invoicing automation, estimate automation, all those stuff. So you said, okay, then you know more. The guy you talk with him, this business, he's more open to share information. So because I had a plan
Yeah.
and I follow this plan like laser, like this 1, 2, 3, with little bit of chit chat. But yeah, if I go without a plan, it's not going well.
Yeah, you have to go in with a. I go into a sales call like completely blind, and I let them just like I did with this call. Like this call is, I just go into this stuff blind, and I just ask questions. I can start it out and tell you my little story about how I live in Mexico and traveled and did Airbnb, but from there, it unfolds to all of this. Like everybody's asking questions and things like that. What I want to do is I want to now that you guys kind of understand this is I want to go into the fulfillment side of how we fulfill this, because that's the other side of this where if you don't have that, you can't get paid, or you're going to get paid 30% of the money and then they're going to complain and walk away and you're not going to get paid. I do want to grab another beer, so give me like, I don't know, 33 seconds and I'll be back. If anybody needs to go to the bathroom or whatever, but just give me a second, okay? I'll be right back. I should put some music on or something for you.
Kelly, did you know Primerica, or it's your first time you heard about this company?
No, it's not actually. I heard about Primerica about 20 some odd years ago.
Yeah.
And but I think it's also the gentleman is into also wealth management of understanding where your ultimate goal is to retiring and what have you. And
Mm,
my goal is in 2.5 years. So I'm on a fast track plan too, of where I am. And I just want to have monthly recurring revenue so that I'm not stressing about many things in life, right?
mm,
Um, but I think this, he's also a friend. So
oh,
he does my finances as well. So from my perspective, um, if I can help him build it, and he's a really, really bright gentleman. But I think he's like, oh, I only do referral based. I said, so what you're saying is that everyone that comes to you is a client today? And he's like, oh, no, no. I said, I know those are the clients we want to reach out to. And I said, when you reach out to the people that are not necessarily clients now, you're giving them the option to opt in. And from my perspective, I can easily help anyone with that. So I've created actually 5 different bots based on different industries, like finance industry, from solar industry, life insurance industry, and a handyman or a home fix it person and a gardener. So I built them out already so that I can clone them into anybody's file and then kind of adjust them as I need them, right? So from my perspective, I'm anticipating the needs for other people. And again, as Nick said, it's not about it's about how can I help you? I was
exactly.
listening, Nick.
Oh yeah,
Ah,
exactly. It's
But
me too.
I've
I
never
was.
done sales in my life. Never.
Mm,
I've never sold
okay.
anything. I used to be a chief of staff for the gaming industry for a multi-billion dollar gaming company that's in 107 countries. And I decided to go rogue here in Las Vegas, and I wrote an international best-selling book about the pandemic. And I kind of just decided that I don't want to work 70 hours a week for, little to no pay. There's no real incentive to work for $12 an hour working hard for somebody, right? I can do that on my own.
but
So,
like a salesman like me, I have a bad habits because I was in sales. So I
mm.
have like bad thinking about, oh, this is good or this is no, it's good because I have the knowledge to the sales, but it's
Well,
different.
Antoine,
You
I
have to
think
question.
based off what you said, Antoine, you probably were in like some sort of like a sale where uh, it's a commodity or something where like a
Yes.
beer salesman, once they run out, that's a whole different type of sale. Like you ran out of beer, you need to buy more. It's not like a solution. It's like
Oh,
you need this. And that comes down to price. So
yeah.
that's a whole different type of selling than
Yeah.
what we're selling here, right? Um,
Oh, yes.
based off
Nick,
what you told me, I don't
Nick, when
know.
you're advertising, like let's say on LinkedIn, do you just do a direct message to them and say, "Hey, wondering if you need this type of solution?" Is that
I always plot myself in front of the people that know that they need something. So in LinkedIn, I'll go and I'll look for jobs and I'll type in BDR, like business development representative, because a BDR is what our AI can change out for them. Or SDR, the sales development representative, or AI automation or something. And I'll type that into LinkedIn. And every day there's like 400 new jobs. And what happens is the ones that actually have AI in there, they'll have in the description like what your responsibilities are, who you're going to report to, or whatever. I'll go and I'll click on the person that posted it, like the hiring manager, and say, "Hey, I saw," because they'll some of them will tell you like, "Yeah, this is a $75,000 annual salary job," blah blah blah, and I'll just open up the conversation. Sometimes they don't respond to you, you know, I'm actually trying to work with some N8N stuff and build out some scrapers. I have a scraper.
Me too.
I have a scraper for another niche that I work in. But I just reach out to the hiring manager and just say like, hey, you know, I saw your job posting. I don't really know if you guys need somebody like that with AI right now. Would you be interested in just setting up a meeting? Sometimes they respond, sometimes they don't. And then you just go from there and you build a rapport with the hiring manager because LinkedIn shows you who is the one that's responsible for it. So the lead is right there. And the idea is really just plop yourself in front of the people that know they have a problem and need stuff. And where I learned this from was from Amazon stores, right? So if you've ever typed in like, I don't know, best vacuum for your house, you know, you get those listicle things and it's just affiliate marketing. All they do is they write a really cool link or article about all the top 10 vacuums, the Dyson, that's the only one that I know actually. I don't know any other vacuum companies, but like, and then you just go and you click on the link and it goes to Amazon and they get credit for that. So their job is only to focus on SEO. Like that's the only thing. They can write articles about, I don't know, the best phone, the cell phone case, the best vegan powder for working out, the best whatever camera for Zoom calls. And then you click on that link and you go over to what's it called? So I go into YouTube and I'll type in best CRM. And then guess what? YouTube will tell you for small businesses, for roofing companies, for dentists, for this. And then I go and I look at those comments and I'll sort the videos from like, you know, I don't know, the most viewed or the most recent. And then I'll look at the comments of like, someone will say, hey, I was thinking about purchasing Go High Level, or I was thinking about doing this, but I don't know where to start. Can you help me? And then you just slide into their DMs and say, hey, I saw you commented on this video. Do you still need help? It does take a little bit of time. That's where I think N8N stuff can come through and help you with it. But it's so much easier it's such an easier situation to find people that know they have the problem than trying to convince people that they need something that they don't even know, right?
Right.
And so that's kind of what it is. That's what I've been doing. Um, Let me answer Ahmed's question, and then after that, let's get into the fulfillment side of things because I think that's super important. Ahmed, what's up, man? How are you?
Hi, pretty good thing. I have a question about if you are starting from scratch and you don't have a track record of sales, right, in that particular niche or any niche. So, how do you establish your rapport? So I don't have a, a very long background in go high level or in sales. Uh, I was in inventory management and I switched over a few months ago and I implemented a couple of clients uh, system and move it to go high level. So I'm just thinking of extending it and doing a full-time agency kind of work. But I'm in touch with the uh, insurance agents, and I had a demo with one of the insurance agents. So a few things I learned that like they are not very keen, or maybe that particular agent which I gave my demo to, like they're not particularly keen for inbound AI because they love to talk to their clients, right? They want to pick up the calls, and so he was asking about outbound AI agent, which we don't have it, obviously. So mm, how do like I based on keeping in mind that I don't have a track record, so I don't have a. He was asking me like how many clients would I get? How many leads would I get if I start advertising? So like zero advertising right now. They are not doing anything in social media. So what do you think that? How can I break into put my foot in the door?
Okay, that's a great question. here's how I will explain this, and it's not something that I created, and it's not something that the guy that I'm going to tell you created. I don't know where he got this from, but he says it in his videos. I'm sure that you're aware of Alex Hermosi, right? So Alex Hermosi, I'll find this video, and it's a super important video because it works. And the process to do this is, it's called acknowledge, answer, and then defer. So if you get into a situation where someone asks you like, can you show me some previous examples of your work or something like that, right? You acknowledge it and you say something along the lines of like, yeah, I mean, and depending on what the conversation is like, but you want to acknowledge it. So you want to call them out and you want to basically reiterate what they're saying. Yeah, that's a great question, and I think that a lot of business owners should ask for previous examples of work, right? Because it shows that you are doing your due diligence in what as you should. And then you want to defer it and you want to say like something in a nice way. So in this example, you could say like, yeah, that's a great question. A lot of my clients ask me the same question or something like that. And you said that you come from inventory management. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can say like, it's funny that you asked that because when I was working in inventory management, we had to keep track of things. And that's actually how I jumped into doing this type of stuff. And then you go into whatever the tasks or the skills that you have within inventory management, right? I assume it's like, I don't know, FIFO, LIFO. I just remember that from accounting class. First in, first
Yeah.
out, last in, last. Like, I just remember that stuff, right? So you can make up a little story about that. And then the last thing is the ask is you want to ask a question that's gonna get them to think like, why do I even need to know what this guy does? Like, why is that important? So you'd ask them like, you know, if and let's think of an example of like let's say it's AI chatbots, right? He wants to see a demo or he wants to see who you've worked with. It would be like, well, and you refer back to this AOF document. I could show you, different types of things, but my clients, their things are their stuff is, like private. I can't share stuff with you. But with that being said, I mean, what is it that if I were to show you something, what would it be that you were looking for that would like give you the confidence that I'm able to do this? Like, because it defers it, but it asks a question to where now they have to think like, well, if I had that, then I would be able to pay. Okay, so you're telling me that because here's the thing, I can give you all my case studies. You can use all my stuff. Like we're all building the same thing, right? We're building AI chatbots. I'll give you my case studies so that you can show other people. I just sent in the group chat here this Google Drive with all these AOF documents. If you go through and you go in a call and you personally understand that, use it to your advantage because it doesn't have my name on it. So if you screw over the guy, they don't know it's me. but, but like use that as to your advantage. You should use that, right? I mean, all these people on YouTube and everything is recycled. Like I'm not teaching anything that like I didn't come up. The only thing I came up with is this McDonald's method, and that's just me thinking. Like that AI didn't even come up with that for me. Like I didn't even ask ChatGPT. I did come up with that. That's the only thing that I came up with in this whole conversation the whole night. So you want to ask, you want to acknowledge, you want to defer, and then you want to ask. right? And so at the end, you always come back to them in the sales process with a question like, if you had that, what would that do for you? Like, you don't have to make it sound like that. That kind of sounds like you're being a dick. But it's like, if you had something like that, what would that do? Would that give you more confidence in me being able to fulfill something for you? Like, because I can put together something for you and then just contact me and I can help you walk through it. But it would be like, because what will happen, I'm going to show you something funny, because that's a good question.
Nick, can we get access to that document?
Yeah, which document? The AOF document?
Yeah, it just says request access. It's locked.
Oh, all right. Let me check my email, and then I'm gonna share my screen because I'm gonna show Ahmed exactly. Oh yeah, look, everybody
Thanks, man.
requested this. Let me do that really quickly. So Ahmed, I'm gonna show you something the other day. He didn't ask me about my, what's it called? My like previous work. But what he did do was he gave me a hard time about the price. And it's the same thing. Any objection has the same what's it called? Has the same response. It's that acknowledge, ask, and then defer. And I'm going to share my screen in a second. I'm just giving everybody access to this thing. Everybody put this here. I do ask that you guys keep these documents for yourselves. Like, I mean, I can't control if you make a copy of it and you go and send it to, I don't know if people have groups in here. We have an author, an acclaimed author in here, and she's gonna go write a book and post all this stuff everywhere. But no, I'm just saying I keep this private just so that I know who has it. Not that you guys are gonna go and do crazy stuff, but all right, I'm just going through all this. There's like 30 people that just asked for this right now. I got 2 more left. Andre, what's up, bro? I see I didn't even know you were in here.
What's going on, man? Yeah. I made it a little late, but I'm in. Yeah, good stuff.
Nice. I just saw your email pop up. So, okay. I did everybody should have access to that now. Except for support team, and I think this might be Dia. All right, so let me share my screen real quick because I'm going to show you this. This is exactly what I'm talking about, Ahmed. And although it's a different objection, this is handled for all objections. So a couple days ago, can you guys see my screen?
It's a little bit tiny. Can you just zoom it?
Yeah, let's see if I can zoom in. Is that better?
Yeah.
I can make it even bigger. Okay, is that good?
Yeah,
So
it's much better.
on May 28th, this guy asked me, hey, I want to be super honest with you. I've met with a few other guys on Upwork, and I would prefer to work with you. You seem to understand the scope of my project better than the other guys, and this is because I went through the AOF document. So when you go through this AOF process, you become the expert in this stuff. So he came back like, let me scroll up for a second. So this is like from May 8th. So for May 8th until, so 20 days, he went around and he shopped with other people, which is fine. You seem to understand my scope of my project better than the other guys I've talked to, but I'm hesitant on the $8,100 it's going to cost me. I spoke to a guy the other day and he told me he could do it basically half price, 4,000 instead of 8,100. He's got really great reviews, but in regards on how he ran the initial meetings, I didn't feel like he did as good of a job as you did in understanding what I'm trying to accomplish. This whole sentence is only because of the AOF document. Like, this is what you want. You want them to express a feeling that you understand. Is there any way we can renegotiate the price? Right? So I don't know what you guys would think about this, but like most people would be like either yes, we can renegotiate the price. Like you get into this situation of like, man, I'm gonna be outbeat by $8,100. Like that's 4,000. Like I need to talk, I need to figure this out, right? You want to keep it calm, cool, and collective. So he said, is there any way to renegotiate this? I appreciated everything that you've done up to this point, and you've been super helpful. Meanwhile, I got paid $500 to do this already. So I've already done my $500 for this. So it is what it is. So here's where I want to show you this, Ahmed. Are you still here? I don't, oh yeah, I see you.
Yeah, I'm here.
You're at the bottom of my screen. So I said, yo, what's up, man? I totally understand where you're coming from. You're being thoughtful about both the cost and who's the right partner for this. And I really appreciate the honesty and the kind words. That means a lot. That right there is the acknowledge part that I was just telling you. What you just shared actually reminds me of a lot of our best clients. So now I'm gonna like relate to them. My best clients, they always ask the same question. Almost all of them talk to other providers too. Some even got cheaper quotes, but they ended up choosing us because they realized this wasn't about finding the cheapest option. It was about finding someone who understood their vision and could actually deliver it right the first time. So I can send you guys this. I'll drop in the folder. So I have a case study. I did a database reactivation, and in 10 days for this company, we did 673 grand. I can send that to you. You can use that as a case study. What we built for Surf Lakes, we collected 673 grand in 10 days for them, and we were the most expensive option. Out of curiosity, so now this is the question that I asked back to him. What part of the 8,100 feels high to you? Is it the total amount, or is it about how it's broken down? Or are you just comparing it for dollar for dollar with the $4,000 quote? So now he has to answer this question. And he says, well, now this is the real problem. Well, I'm really just comparing it dollar for dollar. We just had to buy a new water heater. He's not going to tell me I had to buy a new water heater unless I ask that question, because it went out on us and we've only been in our home for 3 years, and we might have to buy a water softener here soon as well. So I'm trying to get the cost conscious about everything. Blah, blah. He's telling me a story now. I just don't want to get to the end of this. Now this is the real problem. I really just don't want to get to the end of this and be like, okay, the way everything was set up isn't what we wanted, and now I'm out $8,100. The other thing is, I know based off your profile, you haven't made as much money on Upwork as this other guy I was talking to, nor do you have as many 5-star reviews as him. The guy's from San Antonio. He's got rave reviews and was top rated plus in Upwork, which made me feel really good about him. But when I talked to him, the conversation was a little flat and he just didn't seem to grasp what I was wanting. So he's just price conscious. He's got a problem. He spent money on a new water heater, and I don't have 5-star reviews. So this is me not having the credentials that the other guy has, right? So that's just what's going on in my head right now. He did show me some work he's already done in Go High Level for a few law firms, which was cool, and I liked it. He sent me a PDF of his agency and everything, which was great, and all those things added up to a solid comfort level. But the conversation with him just didn't go as I hoped it would. How important are badges earned on Upwork and the money earned? So now he's asking me questions. So now we went from, I don't want to spend $8,100 to, well, I bought a water heater and he's trying to make a deal. So what I did was, now I go back through the acknowledge, the ask, and the defer. So I said, yeah, dude, totally hear you, man. Sounds like you got a lot on your plate and you're just trying to make the smartest move with the budget, right? That's not a dick way to say it. That's like, yeah, sounds like you got a lot of stuff going on, but it's not my problem. But I don't know. You're just trying to be conscious with what you're spending money on. And I appreciate you being this upfront. Most people don't share what's actually going through their head. Honestly, a lot of my clients I've worked with were in the exact same spot. So I did the exact same thing. The best clients, the ones that I work with, the ones that are so successful, they think the same way that you are. They compare the reviews, they look at Upwork stats, they're trying to feel out who's the right fit. And just to give you context, most of my work doesn't run through Upwork, which is why the earnings and the reviews here don't tell the whole story. But the folks who have left reviews, they're all people who decided to move forward after a conversation and they got the results they were after. That's also why I built out this automated operations framework doc with any of the project starts. It lays everything out clearly so you're never in a spot where you feel like this isn't what I asked for. It kills something called scope creep and gives you total clarity from the start. If we moved forward, the first week is all strategy. Just me and my team getting deep into the details with you, and everything's milestone based. So you're not going to pay for the next step until you're happy with the previous one. So that structure exists to protect you and make sure that things are done correctly. And now here's my ask. I'm just curious, if the build came out exactly how you wanted, everything was aligned and smooth, would the price still be your biggest hesitation? Or is it more about making sure you just don't get burned? And he's like, oh, and then I said, if not, I totally get it. You can give him an automation operations we built and the guy in Santa. Oh, if not, if my price is not right, then go ahead and give the AOF document we built to the guy in Santa. So this is where I pull it back. This is where I was telling you about, like, you know, the girlfriend broke up with you and you didn't like her anyway, and now she's taking it away from you. So I said, just go ahead and give the AOF document to the guy in San Antonio, and he should be able to build exactly what you want. That's basically the 30,000 foot approach to what it is that you need. He should set up some meetings with you to expand everything out. So this is my personality. This is my way of selling, is like, I'm kind of throwing the other guy under the bus, but I'm doing it in a respectful way. Like, yeah, he should set up a meeting with you to expand everything out and for you to get granular in on it all. Either way, I'm here and I'm open to answer any questions or doubts you have. But remember the milestones, I think that's pretty important to you. So it's kind of like casually, almost passive aggressive sales. I don't know if that's
Nice.
what it
Yeah.
sounds like, but it's kind of like, dude, if you don't want to work with me, then go work with somebody else. Like, you already paid me. So you already paid me this $500. Like, I don't need your business. Of course I want your business, but I'm going to answer your questions and I'm still going to be able to give you what you want by telling you you're not going to get burned because we have it separated in milestones, and the next milestone's not going to happen until you approve it and pay for it. So that's the thing. So, you know, just curious, did the build came out exactly how you wanted? And he said, no, the price wouldn't be a hesitation anymore if that was the case. So I just literally through text found out his problem, asked him, fixed it, and it's really just more about making sure I just don't get burned. I do like the milestone approach for sure. So that right there, he's willing to pay an extra $4,000 just to know that he's not going to get burned, but he's still going to get this stuff done correctly. So what I'm saying to you, Ahmed, is regardless of what it is, if it's you don't have experience, you don't have a case study, you don't have a I don't even have a website, Ahmed.
Really?
I do not have a website. And the reason why I don't have a website is a buddy of mine in an entrepreneurial group that I'm a part of. Him, his wife, and his brother run a Facebook ads agency. And in 2 years, they generated $1 million in profit. In 2 years. And I raised my hand and I said, how did you do that? And he said, you know what I did? He's the guy that told me to read 10x is easier than 2x. He said, if I wanted to 10x my business, I would have spent more time trying to figure out how to make my website nice rather than go and get clients. So I didn't build a website. So after my entrepreneurial meeting, I went home and I deleted my entire website. And you know what? I don't work on a website. I focus just on these conversations.
Yeah, I
do
can
not
read
have a
very
website.
seasoned conversations you have. Can I ask about, like, how long did you have to take to complete the AOF document? Like, it was a big document, or it was just simple?
So
And
this is what I'm going to tell you. Now I'm going to get into the fulfillment side of things, right?
oh, okay.
So I'm going to get into the fulfillment side of how do I build out these AOF documents. I don't know if Bill is still here because he was the one that I was asking me about that. Dia, do you have a question on sales or do you have a question on fulfillment? And
Still,
I miss you, by the way. I haven't talked to you in a long time.
for sure. Would like to see you again sometime. Same with Andrew, then Kenzel, our peeps. Okay, question on the sales part, just piggybacking on the earlier. So you said you didn't have a website, yes? It because mostly doing outbound, because in my case, like 85% of my clients, previous and current, has been through inbound. So would that mean that if that's my percentage for inbound, I should have a website, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I would just ask this question is out of how, like, inbound, let's say you had 50 people inbound and call you or sign up or want to do a meeting, how many of those people you closed the deal with them, right? Let's say it's 20 people. So you have a margin, you have 30 people that didn't. So use this AOF document, use this for those 30 people, right? They're the ones contacting you. That's the best way to get it. Inbound people are the best. So in your follow-up, you
I-
can
i-
ask them.
Is it okay? Yeah, I actually don't have any website right now. So when someone's asked me, if they wanted to find out, direct them to my LinkedIn. That's okay, right? Here's
Yeah,
my
it's a
LinkedIn
little
profile.
difficult to hear you. I hear some talking in the background or like you're far away from the microphone, but you said it's okay to do
Okay.
that.
Somebody else's mic, I think. I don't have anybody around me, so
Maybe somebody else has. I hear,
Might want to mute James.
oh, maybe it's James. Oh, okay. So say it one more time, Dia. What was the last part of that question? You have inbound leads.
inbound leads. And since I don't have a website, I always redirect them to my LinkedIn profile, because in all of the um public assets or about me that is updated, it's LinkedIn.
Okay. Okay, now ask me the question.
So is it okay that I only have LinkedIn and don't necessarily need the website, even though that majority of my clients
Yeah,
um
yeah. So that's exactly what I would do is I mean if you can hook up something or just message them back and just ask open-ended questions. Hey, what's up? How are you? It's a pleasure to connect with you. How can I help you? Or what do you have going on? You know, something like that. Get them to talk, right? They're gonna say, "Oh, I heard from so and so that you're the girl for, like go high level support, or I heard that you have VAs available or something like that. Yeah, cool. Would you want to set up a meeting? Were you looking for my calendar, right? Then they're going to say either yeah I was, can you send it, or no I wasn't, I was looking for this. You always want to ask open-ended questions, not yes or no's. So when they inbound you, just I mean, even if you don't know an open-ended question, you could just go to ChatGPT and just say like, "Hey, this person messaged me. I want to do this in a consultative sales approach way. This is what they messaged me. How can I ask an open-ended question to this?" And over time, if you keep doing that, you'll just learn more open-ended questions. But you want to ask like, "Yeah, were you looking for like play dumb? Were you looking for my calendar? Is that what you needed?" And they're gonna say, "No, I was looking for this," or "Yeah, can you send it?" Like there's only two options there, right? Or they're not gonna respond to you at all. I guess that's the third option, but that would be weird if someone messaged you and said, "Hey," and then never responded. So I don't
It's
know. Does
happened.
that answer your question? Okay. All right. So
yep.
let's go through the fulfillment side. Ahmed, you asked me how do I make this AOF document? I'm not gonna lie, the AOF document it can be hard if you don't have go high level experience, or you don't understand pipeline journey stages, or you don't understand how to build, and that's okay. How many? I don't know. Maybe put a 1 in the chat if you feel secure and good with go high level, and put a 2 in the chat if you don't really have like a lot of experience with it. So 1 if you know go high level well, and 2 if you don't. Okay, so a lot of people do. Okay, well then that's good. Everybody knows go high level. Or some people are sleeping and they're not paying attention. Or you guys had way too many beers and you got me beat drinking beers. Okay. So everybody has a good understanding of go high level. Okay, then that's good. So when I go into an AOF document in the first call, the call after they paid me, you know, $500, right? All I'm thinking about is maybe like 5 things. One is the pipeline. The pipeline is the 30,000 foot approach to the workflows. Okay. So the pipeline stage is okay. I don't know, Mr. Roofer, how do people find you? Right? Like that's the first question. So that's the pipeline stage. That pipeline stage is 001, and it's just new lead. Every single business starts with a new lead. And then you just go through their customer journey, and you're just like, okay, after they find you, what do? They fill out a quote, they fill out this, they fill out that, they do that. Okay, cool. What do you want them to do? Right? So you have your, let me pull one up. So, that's not a good one. I'll do a simple one. I'll do the roofing one. I put it in here. So this is the roofing one. So you guys have access to this. I shared this document with you guys.
Yeah, Nick, just so you know, that document is still locked for me anyway.
Okay, let me go like this, and I'm gonna move this over here just for a second because this is gonna be in the group, and you guys probably don't want me to share your emails with everybody. So okay, Bill, I see it right here. Am I going slow? My computer is like slow for some reason right now. Okay, you should get it, Bill, right there. Antoine, you should have it now too. Okay, so here's this document, and you want me to make this bigger? Is this small for everybody?
A little bit bigger, but thanks, Nick. I got it.
Okay, cool. So
Nick,
here,
I got in late on Zoom. Could you share the doc again, please?
sure, Fred. Inside. Let me just copy this. I think you have this. I think I shared this with you the other day, Fred.
Yeah, no, the link I have is broken. It's not going anywhere.
Okay, it's because I shared my screen. Can someone copy and paste the link that I shared in here again? Now it's small because I'm sharing my screen and I can't see it on mine. Someone will share it in here because I just put it in. Yeah, Dia shared it. Okay, so I go through and this is all I think about is when I go through this. So this is the roofing one, and I assume you can see my screen and it's big enough, but the customer journey. So you just have your new lead, and then the next one is like the AI qualified it. I put no show before the meeting scheduled, and I'll explain to you why I do this. And I always pause at this when I explain to the client what this looks like. In a pipeline, it's like a Kanban, with the cards inside your Go High Level account. So you have, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6. I'm just using the top numbers up here. The closer they get to number 6 is when they're paying you. So you want your clients in the CRM system to always be moving to the right. Anything that's moving to the left is a step back. So 003 is no show. So if someone came to 4, if someone came in and 1, made a booking and they didn't show up, they're moving backwards in the path. So they're not moving forward. But when you type it out like this down, it doesn't make sense because it's like no show, no. But really, they're hopping over to 4, and if they didn't show up on Tuesday at 3 o'clock, then they're coming back. That's important to tell the people when you're speaking to them, so that they understand it, and it kind of like moves you up a little bit, like, oh, that's such a simple thing, but it makes logical sense. So, the meeting scheduled, then rebook the house appointment is the same thing as house appointment. If, the guy's going to go out there and measure the roof, well, they didn't show up, they're not getting closer to paying you, right? So quote sent, quote accepted, payment received. Now, each one of these customer journey pipeline stages, they are basically they have a corresponding workflow. And I'm going to scroll down because the workflow is here. So workflow. And all that is you have a goal, a trigger, and an action. I just call the action is what needs to happen. Who needs to be notified? What kind of information needs to be, it could be anything. It could be a contract needs to be sent, Ryan in the front office needs to receive an email. I don't know, like whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just what needs to happen for that stage. And the goal is typically always to move them to the next stage, right? Now, how does this work? All right, Fred, I'm gonna give access to you in here. Let me just go like this. I'll move it over here. So how does this work, right? For me, I actually don't do any of this work. You guys are gonna be like, how the hell do you do this? So Antoine, who else is in here? I know Antoine, Andre, James, Kenzel, I think, Teresa. There's a bunch of people in here. We're in a group where you guys found this. It's called Go High Level Mastery. And so Adam and Brendan, they actually do all this work. They do all this work for us. What our job is we go out, we sell it, we get paid our $500, we send this document to them, they build it out, they give us a price back, and then we just keep a commission. That's how this works.
And this is how you can do factory work. Let's say 1 build, 2 build, 3 build, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom. Not like 1 build. Me, I was like struggling, making 1 client build 1 month of
Well,
work.
that's why I made
Get
this, because
paid,
this is what was happening to me and everybody else. It's like we would sell it, and then we gotta fucking build it, and then we gotta deliver it, and then we gotta restart. And this, change your numbers here, a $3,000 build in 6 weeks. I mean, that goes to all my beers. Like, I can't drink any more beers after $3,000. And so what Adam and Brendan have done is they have taken over the entire fulfillment process for all of us. So that's where I just basically, myself and Andre and Antoine and Teresa, and I don't know, I'm looking at the names of everybody here. we go through and we just go and get all of our own leads. So this allowed me and everybody else, I assume, to stop working in my business and just work on it. So I pay $1,000 a month to have a team of 17 people manage all of this for me. And so I don't have to do any of this anymore. And so what does that look like? I mean, for me, I'll make this pretty simple. This is where the McDonald's method comes into play, is because I just have to focus on, 10 meetings at $500 a month or $500 each. So I just focus on getting 10 meetings. My business is $5,000 a month. And I know that one person is going to buy a $10,000 deal. So now I'm at 5 grand plus 10 grand minimum is 15K. My workload is each meeting takes me, well, I have 3 meetings per person, so 3. The first meeting for me is, I would like to keep it at 15 minutes, but in reality, by the time you start talking to people and you're like, oh yeah, I live in Mexico, and they're like, oh wow, that's amazing. How long you been there? Like all that, it probably takes me 35 minutes. I try to keep it at 15, but it never does that. My second meeting is to literally build out just on a call. I just write chicken scratch and I record it inside Fathom, and Fathom documents it and organizes the call. That meeting, when I first started, it took me about an hour and 15 minutes, and I got it down to a science, and it takes me 45 minutes. And that's all I do. That's just like info gathering. And all I do is I follow this. I follow the pipeline stage, and then the trigger, the goal, and the what needs to happen. And I just talk to the client. And in the documents, you'll see all of that. I have some of my sales videos in there. You can go look at them. So that's 45 minutes. And then the third meeting is the guy who paid $500 is begging me like, dude, where's that document? I'm so excited. Can I see it? Like, I don't have any follow-up or anything because they have skin in the game. They paid me $500 to build this out, and they're waiting for it. Like, they genuinely are waiting for it because they want to know, one, how much it's going to cost, and two, they need this document because they paid $500. And all it is probably another 45 minutes. And it's just me going through this exact document. This exact document in this folder, I deleted these prices because, again, I don't know who's doing this. Adam and Brendan inside Go High Level Mastery, they come back to me and they say, hey, Nick, this is going to cost, $10,000 to build. And I keep 30% of that. You keep 30% of that. So for, I don't know, what's 45 and 45? That's 90 plus 35. So for 2 hours worth of work, is that 2 hours? No, 60 and 60 is 120. That's 90. Yeah, almost two hours worth of work. I get paid $500. And you can make up whatever price you want. I'm gonna move this to $1,000 soon, because now I have so many of these documents. I started out selling them for $99, then $150, then $250. Now I'm at $500, and I'm just gonna move it up to $1,000. And I highly suggest that you get this book. The 10x is easier than 2x, because that's what honestly has allowed me to start doing this. So for 2 hours worth of work, I get paid $500, and this is 2 hours. Like, I'm not kidding you. I played golf today, I played golf yesterday, and I played golf the day before. And I had 2 meetings and I made $1,000, and I still played golf. So it works. So then Adam and Brendan, they come back to me and they say, okay, yeah, it's 10K. So I go to the client and I say, okay, on the third call, let's just use 8,100, because that's what the other one in Upwork was, right? So 8,100 times 30%. 8 times 3 is 24. So I probably made, let's just say 23.75. Wouldn't that be amazing if that was really what that is? I don't know what 30% of 8,100. 8,100 times 30%. Oh, 24.30. I was close. So I make, damn, why can't I type on this anymore? That's super weird. I can't type on this. I did something. Maybe I gotta exit out of this. Huh. Do you know what I did wrong? I don't know what happened. It won't let me type on Google Drive. Okay, there we go. So I don't know what that was. 24.50. Can you guys still hear me? Yeah, okay.
Yes, yes.
So I make 24.50 off of this plus the 500, and Antoine and Andre, we all do the same thing. And then I charge the client $297 a month for a licensing fee, which you know that includes Go High Level. So I spent 2 hours to make, you know, whatever, 24.50. So that's 3 grand plus 297 a month, and 300 times 12. 12 times 3 is 36. So that's $3,600 a year. And I don't have to do any of the work. Now I do show up to the calls, and I do work with, so we have project managers that handle it. And that's how I fulfill this, because what I started doing was I was doing this and I just created a job for myself. So what I enjoy doing is I enjoy just paying $997 a month for a team of 17 people to just do it all for me. And what that allows me to do is, if I get 2 meetings a month, it pays for my membership, and then I make 3,000. Let's say I only got 2 meetings a month, you know, $500, which pays for this. And then I reap the benefits of getting the licensing fee. This adjusts to each person. I mean, I have clients that some pay $897 a month, but the majority pay between $297 to $497. And so that's my fulfillment. Now, if you want to do fulfillment yourself, I mean, you gotta go through and do it yourself. I would suggest that, I mean, if you guys all, I mean, you guys are all in, I mean, most of you guys are in this group anyway, that that I'm talking about right here. Bill, I don't know if you're in our group, but you know, this is how it operates. This is how you scale it, and this is how it becomes like a not a job. It becomes like an actual machine that's running in the background for you while you just focus on sales. And so that's what I've been helping Adam and Brendan with, is like, the hardest thing is sales. And if you look at I would say, like, most people would look at this as an expense, but this is an asset. If you were to go hire 17 people, you will not pay $997 a month for that. This is a team of 17 people. I mean, I don't know, Andre, Antoine, like, you guys work, we all work together. Like, what's your experience? Like, $997 a month for 17 people to do work is,
It saved us like
Yeah,
hours
lots.
and hours.
yeah.
It's crazy leverage, and yeah, like to your point, I'm working on a mega deal now, and it would have been possible, try to figure all this crap alone or
Same as me.
yeah.
Like big deal e-commerce and everything with AI. It's like, damn.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you a background of some of these people. Like, I mean, you guys, Adam and Brendan, right? So inside this group, let's see. Adam and Brendan. These are my guys. I love these guys. Let's exit out of all these. This is from all today. I can't keep up sometimes. So inside this group, we have the Go High Level Mastery. This is what everybody is a member of. Like, this is where we're at right now. This is going live right now, right? So Adam and this is Adam. This is Brendan. They are the owners, or the, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'd call them owners. They're the guys that handle all this. All right, Bill, it was good talking to you. Thanks for coming.
Appreciate it, Nick. It was great. Fantastic. I just got to.
Of course, no worries, no worries. So Adam and Brendan, they run this, right? And inside the private, the private group, every single day, there's 190 of us in here. Every day they come through and they have a VIP call, or like a support call for 2 hours. You go in, you share your screen, and if you have any questions about having anything built, so I handle. They came to me and basically said, like, we want you to handle the sales, and they handle all the build stuff. So I'm helping people with sales, but they handle all the build stuff. I have no interest in doing anything. I don't care to build anymore. I just want to sell. Like that's what I'm good at. And so we just come in.
I'm where you are, but I'm starting now.
Yeah, I don't care to build anything anymore. I just want to sell, because that's where the money's at. And the money's at there for all of us. So, like, look, here's Teresa right here. This is from, I guess today's June 11th, yesterday. So you come in and you share your screen, and everybody is, working on whatever they need to do for their client. And so you're basically having an entire team operating everything for you, and it costs $1,000 a month. The other side of it is, if you're not ready for, like, basically, fulfilling deals, to just join this group, which is support. It's $597 a month, and then once you get your first deal, you basically can just upgrade and they'll fulfill it for you. So the idea for me to help you guys in this group is, I want to get you guys to a point where you are making the sales, so that you don't see this $997 or $597 as an expense. I think it's definitely necessary. I mean, I don't know, Antoine and who else is in here? I don't know where the menu went. The participants: Andre, Antoine, James, you're in the group with us. Kenzel, you're in the group, right? Linda's in the group. There's a bunch of people in there.
You will not struggle anymore. That's it. And
Yeah.
even if even if I know now, I know high level, okay. And let's say 3 of the bill I submit this week or last week, it's like 2 I can do it myself. But if I'm taking those bills anyway, it will take 3 months for myself. But not even this. It's like keep up on everything. It's new on high level. Say I was like, oh, how can I do this? Or what is the process to do XYZ? So you have the right boom, 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 the right answer, and they say, okay, fine, in 5 minutes, instead of trying to look for an hour if I can do XYZ.
Exactly. I just put the link to it if you want to see it. But it basically is just your shortcut to just scaling this. There's no way that you would be able to scale this by doing it just one off, unless you were selling $100,000 builds, but you're still going to need a whole team to do that. So that's basically the fulfillment side that I have been using, and it works and it's amazing. But outside of that, if you have questions on fulfillment, because some people did have questions on fulfillment, I can answer that. It's okay, Bob, go ahead.
Okay, so hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you?
Cool. So I asked this question earlier, but the way that you're prospecting kind of opens yourself up to different types of industries. So, but I'm wondering, can you apply this method to, like, if you wanted this to focus on one particular niche or vertical, whatever, life insurance agents or whatever, HVAC, go after it and then basically have kind of a basic snapshot. And then the next time around, you don't have to, kind of reinvent the wheel, such that you're kind of just cloning it and maybe doing like a little bit more. Because I do see like it is kind of a bummer to give up like 60%. It's 997 plus 60% of the build price to your boys, Adam and Brendan, which is cool. But I mean, if you're just focusing on one vertical niche, can you kind of really reduce that down in terms of just kind of cloning the snapshot over and over?
Yeah, you can, but here's the way that I see that, and my experience with that is, and this comes from that book, 10x is easier than 2x, right? Is now you've just made like you're selling a snapshot. The client doesn't necessarily need to know that you're selling the snapshot. They're not going to know. But you're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Because now you're getting them to conform to what you want them to do based on the system that you have. And what that does is, okay, great, you sold it for $6,000 and I don't know, got $397 a month, but they're not going to rave about you because they didn't choose it. Now, you can sell a snapshot and you can use the magician method that I explained to you earlier if you were here, or I posted it in the group of getting them to want to choose what it is that they built based off the snapshot that you already have, right? So it's the same as like a magic trick. The magician has the 5 of hearts on top, and the whole magic trick is a story, which is your AOF document, and the guy watching the magic trick is basically choosing the card on top, and then at the end of the trick, he's amazed because the magician picked out his card, right? You can sell it like that. I'm not saying that you can't. But I guess my question would be why wouldn't and it doesn't matter if whoever fulfills it, let's just say you're fulfilling it and you're keeping 100% of it. Like, yeah, pick a niche, go and make a funnel, run ads to it and see what works and then fulfill it. And then when you are overwhelmed and you're bogged down by too much work, go and hire a team and then, you know, do whatever you need to do. You can hire Adam and Brendan, or you can hire your own team to do it. So niching down is great, but at the same time, you're trying to find a needle in a haystack by going and looking for specific people that you're trying to sell to instead of getting them to want to buy. Now, if you're running ads to a funnel to explain and show them, how this and that works, I wouldn't niche down. I would just be like, if you, for instance, let's just say Marcus Bob, right? Like a database reactivation, right? Just niche down to database reactivation. Don't niche down to chiropractors that want to have a database reactivation, right? Just expand and cast a wide net and just the niche is, do you have 100,000 leads in your CRM system and want cash to appear out of nowhere? Click here. Like, and then they go to a landing page and the video is like, I have a program that will generate cash from leads that your team was not able to collect from. Send me your Excel file, and for every lead, every meeting, I charge $15, right? Like whatever. That's your niche. Anybody that has a database that needs an appointment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but you're talking about kind of a very specific function right there, like a database reactivation. Whereas I thought what you're trying to do is the entire customer journey and a custom build that would include, getting the leads in all the way to things like DBR and, whatever else that they need. So, I mean, yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I
but
could
you
definitely
have to
do a
get those
DBR.
you have to get those people into it. So you book a meeting with them, right? So that's what I'm saying. It's like you book the meeting with that person from that example that I just said. Like what I say, 100,000 leads, and you want money to appear from nowhere. We can make money appear. Book a call. It's $15. Whatever. Well, you get them on a call, and then you ask them, and you go through this whole AOF document thing. How many leads do you have in your system? Cool. How many times has your employees called those leads? 330, each person got called 3 times. Why didn't they call them 4 times? Oh, because they were exhausted and you just didn't get it. They didn't answer the phone. Did you try to send them a text message? Yeah, but no one responded. Okay. Like, what if we built out this, right? This, that, or the other thing. And you build out the AOF document and you go through the whole sales process that I've talked about. And then you just sell them the snapshot the same way that the magician picks the 5 of hearts off the deck of cards. Like they don't need to know that. And then at that point, I mean, you're technically selling a snapshot. You're keeping all the money, but you have to do all the work. So who's gonna prompt it? Who's gonna fix it when it breaks? Who's gonna, get the A2P? Like,
No, I mean, definitely if you're going to scale, well, no matter what, you have to have some sort of a team. And I get that. I'm just saying, are you finding any kind of economy of scale in terms of trying to focus on a niche, or you just basically in the way that you're prospecting, for example, your Upwork file or profile, you're getting anybody and everybody from any industry, and you'll talk to anybody, where you always have to kind of reinvent the wheel versus, if you were to just stay on one niche, are there some economies of scale in terms of what you build so that you're not having to, you know, do 60% out on your build costs? And I get there's recurring revenue, but one of the models I see coming on right now is build and release, where you basically you build it once and you don't have any monthly recurring. It feels like maybe that could be a way some of the stuff is going. So I'm just trying to figure out like, if you don't want to reinvent the wheel and have more scalability, would it make more sense just to focus on a niche and still apply a lot of these principles that you're talking about?
well, when you refer to a niche, I think you're talking about an industry, but think of
Mhm.
it this way. Let me pull something up. I'm gonna show you something. Think of a niche as a snapshot. Don't think of an industry. Think of a niche as like this. I'm gonna share my screen. I just gotta find this thing. Okay, here it is. Let me make this bigger. Well, let me share my screen first. So I want to share this with you and show you what this looks like. So imagine having a snapshot that does this. And then think of all the businesses that this could fit in. So let's just walk through this piece by piece. So an ad is run. There's an opt-in page. And I'm gonna go left to right first. They watch a video, they fill out an application, then they book, they get a thank you page, and then they have a sales call. If they don't go watch the video, but they opted in, there's an email, a text, and a setter, which this could be AI, and then they get on a sales call. So I'm going to explain to you what this looks like. The dentist runs an ad. They come to an opt-in page. They watch a VSL why veneers are amazing at this spot, or why braces are beautiful, or the best thing ever, or Invisalign, or whatever. They fill out an application of the last time they brushed their teeth, they got an x-ray, they did whatever. They book an appointment on a calendar. They said thank you, and they go and they sit in the chair at the dentist office. Let's do a roofing company. They run an ad, they go to an opt-in page, they get an estimate on their roof, they watch this VSL of why ceramic shingles are better than asphalt shingles. They fill out an application to find out when they want a new roof within the next 2 weeks, or is it 9 months? They go to a booking page, they see a thank you page, the guy goes out and measures the roof and gives them the proposal. In all of those, now you have, if they went to the opt-in page, well, the AI setter can handle the VSL, can handle the application, can handle the booking all through conversational stuff. So if the client didn't want to go watch the video, then just the frequently asked question chatbot will just talk to them, and then they go sit in the chair at the dentist office, or they have the guy come out and check the HVAC, or they have whatever. So when you're talking niche, you're referring to an industry, but change the niche to the process or the problems that they're going to solve, and then you have the answer to your question of why does Nick not handle like a specific niche? I work with insurance agencies, I work with capital raising, I work with doctors, I work with medical clinics, I work with, I don't know, roofing companies, like all kinds of things. And so it's easier to just like, if this is what you want as a snapshot, go and build this, and then your niche is this type of business, not a dentist business. And so when you go into the AOF document, this is where you become the consultant of, hey, so you guys aren't running ads. Would you be opposed to running ads? Or how are you getting your clients? Oh, okay, you have people calling you and you don't want to run ads? Okay, boom. Take away this, and then instead of having a lead form inside Go High Level, this is just a missed call text back. Then they go to an opt-in page. So that's where the custom build comes in, right? So each one of these little boxes can be something different, and this is what you change. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. I know.
Okay.
It's pretty much plug and play, but I mean, again, there is, the need to have it built every time custom because there's enough differences. Otherwise, I could do it myself, but we're all talking about like it takes too long to build it ourselves. So either it's easy or it's not easy. Sounds like it's not easy.
Well, this you
So
could build once, right? And the only
yeah.
thing that you're changing is this you could build once. The only thing that you're changing is the prompt for the AI, right? Or
Mhm.
the stuff here, but the client would provide you the video unless they wanted you to make the video. But I think if it's a dentist office, they're
Mhm.
probably going to want to hire some like professional videographer to come and, I don't know, take videos of their, I don't know, whatever. Obviously the doctor's going to be the one that's going to be on the thing, or the HVAC guy is probably the CEO or the guy, on the commercial in your local news station, right? I mean, you really don't have to build all this out, but think of all the things that needs to be done when you hand this off to a client. You have to build out. For me, I don't care about giving 60% away to have my team build that. Any business operates at a 30% margin. A 30% margin is amazing. Like, I mean, yeah, of course I'd like to have more, but if I wanted more, then I have to do more of the work. My job is only to just get sales, right? So
Gotcha.
that's just how I do it. But you can go and really build or sell anything, and it doesn't have to be difficult. I think a lot of people make things difficult.
Yeah. Okay. Um, Not exactly related to the build part of it, but do you any of your offers with your clients, do you also bring in the traffic and the ads part of it?
No, I don't. For me personally, like this is again going back to that book, 10x is easier than 2x. I started out doing that, but when you have conversations with people or businesses that have a hobby, and what I mean by a hobby is someone that doesn't have actual clients coming in, I consider that as a hobby because now they've become dependent on you to operate their entire business, and that is a lot of pressure. So they're in a situation where they don't have a lot of cash, so everything is nickel and diming. They don't have a set function or process or system in place, and they're relying on you to come in and go and run ads for them. And I know enough about ads to be, good. And I'm thinking of one client in particular. I did one for mattressbyappointment.com. It was a franchise. And he wanted us to, he told me, like, this was before I was working with Adam and Brennan. This is my last $5,000 and I need this to work or I'm going to lose my franchise and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, dude, I don't want that pressure from you. Like, mattress by appointment. It's not that hard. Just get people to make an appointment to buy a mattress. And like, just run ads to it or find somebody. I don't want to be responsible for that. And so I just build out the automations. I don't want that type of responsibility for me. If people don't have a business, I don't want to work with you. And it's just a personal preference. Like, I'm not trying to charge you $5,000, but you don't have like one, you're complaining about $5,000. Two, you don't even have clients coming in and you're at square one. You have a hobby that you haven't turned into a business, and I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so just rely on businesses that already have inbound traffic from different sources and help them automate it from there all the way through.
Yeah, Bob, I really highly suggest that you read that book, 10x is easier than 2x, because you should not be having any conversations with people that like are not willing to pay a minimum of 10 grand to work with you. And it becomes so much easier. The conversations become so much easier. It's
No, I'm
like,
actually talking about there. There are some people that are coming from the agency world where they're the SMMA and they're adding the AI and they're talking about doing $10,000 offers where you combine some sort of minimal chatbot AI along with ads and they're getting 10,000 without doing a custom build. So that's just another way that's maybe scalable. It's completely different than what we're talking about here. So I'm just trying to evaluate like, okay, is that ever part of what you offer? And I understand like the reasons. That's the way I've been thinking for the last year and a half is, stick away. It's a lot of hassle to customize ads, and I'm not, in the Facebook, don't have recent experience doing it, so I'm not going to be that great at it. So I understand that. So
so they're
well,
running they're
yeah, they'll
yeah.
go into like a med spa and they'll package together ads with the AI. And basically the problem is that they don't convert well because they leave it to their front desk staff. And so if they add the AI into it, they can all of a sudden start doing some great, and then they have some other strategies for, selling memberships and things. So it's a whole strategy. But anyway, there's just other ways to make a $10,000 a month client. Now that's a build and release where there's basically no monthly, completely different than this. So again, I just focus on what's the most scalable thing. And yeah, so this is a great way to do it where you're just really doing a very consultative, very
The
customized
most
approach.
I think the most scalable way is the McDonald's method, is sell the AOF document and then let them decide
Hmm.
anything after that. Like, that's the
Yeah.
easiest thing. You don't have to do anything other than just sit on a call for 45 minutes and build out the AOF document. For
Yeah.
me,
And by
I don't want to do that work either, so I just have Adam and Brendan do
right.
it.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, could the AOF, if you train an AI, can it actually spit out the document for you? Or you gotta have those guys do it for you?
We've been messing around. I've been messing around with it, but it's not good. I mean, it's good to the client, right?
Hmm.
The client is probably going to be a little wowed, but the thing is that when if the client ends up paying 10 grand and then now all of a sudden you got to build it, well, you better know what you're about to build. If AI just told you this, like you need to know what it is that you're going to build.
Yeah,
So it'll be a shortcut to just wow the client. But if the client's like, okay, yeah, I'm ready to build it, now they paid 500 and you're going to be in a situation where it's like, oh, you know what? We actually have to change this. We have to change that. We have to change this. And they're going to, now your scope creeping on the client, and the client's going to be like, dude, what are you talking about? Why did you send me this if you're changing all this
yeah.
other stuff?
Okay. And by the way, do you find it is about a 10% conversion rate in terms of your presentations of the AOF that they convert to your build?
I'd have to run my numbers again, but actually, it was like 83%, and
Okay.
one of them didn't go through with it. And the reason why where they were in Israel, and I never heard back from them. I don't know what happened, and I know there's like a war going on and this and that. To be honest, I don't know what ended up happening to them. They never responded to me. We were gonna move forward, and that was one of the numbers that like, you know, pushed it down. But I would say if I have 10 AOF documents and they paid, I close probably like 6 on a build, and it depends on the builds. Like right now, Matt, who's also in the group, we just closed a $25,000 deal the other day, and I helped him close it. And then we have another client with him that they have they want all these different things, and they want API connections, but it makes it super expensive. And so it's like, I understand what you need, but you don't even have the revenue to pay for that. So that's what I'm saying is that 10x is easier than 2x. It's like go for businesses that are making money, because when you bring a $50,000 deal to them, they're just like, okay, yeah, 25,000, yeah, I'll pay you right now. Whereas maybe to me or you or other people in this call, it was like 25 grand. That's a lot of money. Like, but to a company that's doing $1 million a month, 25 grand to make an extra 300 grand a month and save, 300 grand in salaries or whatever, it's not that much at all. We actually should probably charge 100 grand for it.
What's been your biggest deal so far?
My biggest, well, in this go high level stuff or like in sales in general.
Yeah, in the scope of what we're talking about, your custom builds with GHL.
The biggest one is I would say this 25 grand one. And it was a eye-opening experience because here's the thing. It's easy to sell 8 and 9 and $10,000 deals quick, but it's easier to sell like 125 grand deal if you have the right people. So this is where I'm at because now Adam and Brendan are handling all my stuff. I can work on the business, not in my business. So now I have free time to go and figure out this N8N and build out scrapers and do this to get people through a funnel to come and sell them a $25,000 deal. Whereas previously, I'm falling in this little parabola of like
Mhm.
sell, build, deliver, redo it. So I look at it like my team that I pay is handling it so that I can focus on better revenue generating tasks. So 25 grand in this industry is the biggest like close, like collected money. But I've had like 2 weeks ago, I closed an $18,000 one. I closed $8,100 last week with this guy that I was showing you. I don't know. And then I do stuff here in Mexico too. I'm selling Boomerang. Me and my girlfriend are, and we're in the process of closing like 3 of those deals, those are cheaper. They're like just $250 a month. But that stuff pays for my rent. So I'm like, yeah, I might as well just for free.
So Nick, when you go after like the bigger ones, like I think Brittany's going to be teaching on that, but is in the GHLM group, but when you after the bigger ones, the 25 grand and up, is there like a lower build cost? You're just actually marking it up more? So you get a higher percentage basically of the build?
No, there's a price sheet that Adam and Brendan have. I mean, we wouldn't go and sell like a typical $4,000 Marcus build and then jack the price up to $65,000 for the same thing. I mean, if I could do it, I would. I'll see I'll feel them out in the sales call, but the idea for a bigger sale is there's more stuff, right? So I have an engineering firm with Brittany in, I don't know where it's at, Atlanta, and the build is like $76,000. I don't know if we'll close it. We're working on it like little by little, but there's so many processes and things that need to take place. Like we're talking about architectural designs with AI and things like that, and then government agencies that there's compliance, like all that type of stuff cost money because it has to be built. So when you hear of like a $76,000 build or $100,000 build, it's not profit. There's expenses that go into it, right? It sounds cool. It's like, wow, I'm closing $100,000 deal, but there's a price sheet for it. Um, you know, so the answer, I think, from the question that I heard is like, are you just jacking the price up for the same thing to higher paying clients? The answer is not really, because the higher paying clients need more stuff. But I mean, if something is there, I mean, the price is what someone's going to pay for it. So if someone wants to pay more, yeah, okay, I'll let them pay more.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep. Does anybody else have any questions? We've been on this for a minute, huh?
Yeah, it's been really good, Nick. I still need access to those docs. If you can organize that, it'd be good. Thanks.
Okay, let me see. Did you clicked on the document and threw your email in there?
I clicked on the doc and it just says I need access. So I requested access on it.
You did request access, yeah?
Yep. Yep.
Can you do it one more time? Because I don't see it right here. I just have Antoine, Bill, Teresa, Deshaun, Ron, Andre, Linda, Dia, George, Terry. I don't see your name on here.
Oops. It's an FJ Gillen email at Gmail. So just give me a sec. I'll do it again.
Okay, yeah, do it again and I'll do it.
Hey, Nick, I want to say thank
Yep.
you a lot, man. You helped me a lot.
Who's speaking? I don't know who's speaking.
It's Terry Lofton.
Terry. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, man. Yeah, you're welcome, bro. We're gonna do these every Thursday at this time, and I expect you guys to come back with questions.
Yeah, I just where we go? Yeah, just request it again, Nick.
Okay, it's info at.
No, it's fjgillen@gmail is the
All right, send your email in this chat because it's so weird. It's oh, there it goes. I see it. Yep. I don't know. Maybe my email is on a delay. Yeah, Terry, no worries, man. I'm glad that you showed up. I'm glad that everybody showed up. I mean, I had fun. This was a good call.
So this is the call that's going to replace your Sunday call?
Yeah, this is going to replace the Sunday calls. I'm just going to do it in this group. That way, it's just all organized.
Love it. Thank you.
Yep. And then tomorrow, for everybody in the group, I'll have a more detailed one and we'll go over things like that. So Antoine, I'll see you tomorrow. I think I'm running the call tomorrow. And Andre, who else is in here? Teresa, I don't know if she's still here. Linda. So yeah, if you guys need anything, I'm gonna be active in this public group right here, the free group. Just hit me up, text me. I don't know, tag me, beep me. I don't have a beeper anymore, but whatever you need to do to get a hold of me, feel free. All right. So
Thanks, Nick.
I will see you guys. You're welcome. I think
Yeah, thanks, Nick.
Hey, Nick, thanks, man.
Yeah, no worries. I'll see you guys when I see you. All right.
Yes, sir.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
All right.